Hello and welcome to the Daily Mill Friday, the 6th of August 2021. The season starts tomorrow. This is season eve. QPR away. What a cracking game to start the season. But before then, we're going to look at this bit of Millwall news from this morning. This is from millwallfc.co.uk. This is Ryan Leonard pens a new long-term contract. Millwall Football Club is delighted to announce that Ryan Leonard signed a new long-term contract at the Den. The 29-year-old scored 5 goals for the Lions since joining from Sheffield United, initially on loan before making a permanent move in 2019, and will now spend the foreseeable future in the SE16, starting his career at Plymouth as a youngster. The midfielder then spent time at both Southend and Sheffield United before moving to the capital. Making his Millwall debut at home to Leeds United in 2018, he netted his first goal in front of the Caldwell Lane in a 3-0 win over Ipswich that same season. Leonard made 30 appearances during the 2020-21 season, playing a variety of positions including centre midfield, right back, centre half, before picking up an injury that ruled him out for the rest of the season. So there you go, Leonard signing a new contract, which is interesting. It's interesting. Imagine he was one of the ones that would have been out of contract last season, next summer, so they've already figured out that they're going to be wanting to keep him, and for more than 1 year. Does that mean 2 years, 3 years? I don't know. But interesting to see. So Ryan Leonard signed his new deal. Jed Wallace has not yet. And kind of interesting, getting the deal done so early in August, especially for a player who's just coming back from injury. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I suppose even though his contract does run out next summer, once we get to January the 1st, he can start talking to other clubs. Maybe you don't want to get in that situation because then other clubs might actually look a lot more appealing. They might start offering more money. And when a player thinks, okay, I've got to move, I've got a different commute, I might have to move my kids to school, but it's for more money. Whereas if you just offer them the contract now, say, okay, you'll be here for the next 2 seasons, guaranteed, next 3 seasons, nothing to worry about, it's easy for you, easy for your kids, they'll be in the same school, ain't got to worry about nothing, just concentrate on your football, don't have to worry about getting a new contract every year. If you give them a year contract, like a year and then another year and then another year, they have to keep it's quite stressful, I would imagine, to be in that situation as a footballer, having to continually worry about if you're going to be employed for the next 12 months, whether you're going to have any money to pay your bills and whatnot, and that's all taken care of. So nice and early before the season even starts, Ryan Leonard signed up. Interesting news from Millwall today. Moving on now, we got this. So this is from londonnewsonline.co.uk, and they've been speaking with Gary Rowett. It seems Millwall's target this season: improve on 11th and challenge for the playoffs. So just to challenge for the playoffs. Millwall manager Gary Rowett is targeting a top 6 finish as he prepares for tomorrow's season opener contest at QPR, but he has cautioned that it will not be easy to overhaul clubs with much bigger resources. The Den side are 12th favourites for promotion, with the bookies on odds of 7-1, while their hosts are only marginally shorter wager. Yeah, but what strikes me about that is I've been looking at the odds, and Millwall's odds to get promoted are like, they say here 7-1, but I've seen like 9-1. And also our odds to get relegated are like 9-1. It's like the bookies just hedging both their bets. We should be a lot bigger than 9-1 to get relegated, and we should be a lot bigger of 9-1 to be promoted, to be honest with you. But yeah, it is what it is. An away allocation of 2,500 for Millwall at Loftus Road should give the visitors a big lift as they bid to win for the first time in 32 years. How many people watching this are younger than 32? How many? Hands up. If you've been following Millwall all your life and you are under 32 years old, you have not been able to see Millwall win at Loftus Road. That is a fact, and that's a fact that if we are to break into the top level of the league, these kind of long-term facts need to be demolished. There's no reason that should be. QPR were a top-level side. They had players like Rodney Marsh and Stan Bowles. Those days have gone. Then they come back. They had players like Les Ferdinand, Nigel Quashie. But now those days have gone again, and they've dropped off again. They're marginally better than us in terms of players and profile, and probably fan support. But as other teams have built bigger and better grounds, they've kind of dropped down as well. Loftus Road is not a Premier League quality ground anymore. They are not a Premier League quality team. They've been overtaken by other teams. Teams like Bournemouth got a better ground than them. Reading got a better ground than them. This record of us not winning there for 32 years, if we are to amount to anything, needs to be dismissed and demolished with a plum tomorrow. The Lions boss said it won't be easy to say top 2 for us, but I think top 6 is a target. So he's deluded enough to think that there's a possibility of us finishing top 2. But I think top 6 is a target. That's a really strong aim and what we are working hard towards. We finished in and around the top 10 in the last 2 years, but a lot of clubs will feel they are capable of making the playoffs. There will not be many championship teams who would fancy playing Millwall in a packed den. It's a difficult division, but if you have not got ambition, there's no point in taking part. We want to be strong and start well. There is always excitement around a derby on opening day, but they are saying exactly the same thing. We want to go and be really competitive and do exactly what we've done in pre-season. If it comes off, great, but if it does not, we won't get too agitated. It will be a tough game, but we want to get a result. Well, here's the thing. Leicester won the Premier League. Leicester won the Premier League. With the team that they had, they managed to win the Premier League against teams that were a lot better than them in terms of individual players. But it's about the team that you build. And if Leicester can win the Premier League, then for fuck's sake, Millwall can win the Championship. It's just about the team that you build, how you play that team, and getting the best out of everyone involved. So there you go. If it comes off, great, but if it does not, we won't get too agitated. It'll be a tough game, but we want to get a result. Rowett revealed at Tuesday's fan forum that he's looking for an attacker after revealing Mason Bennett will be out for 6 weeks to play in front of 2 or 3 behind 2 strikers. If it's sensible and fits our parameters. Zian Flemming of Fortuna Sittard in the Eredivisie was offered a move in the summer, he revealed. Unfortunately, our values didn't fit theirs, he said. Rowett reiterated his gratitude to Chairman John Berylson, whose investment in the club since first joining the board in 2007 is close to 100 million. The manager said, he has said all along he wants me to get the side I want as quickly as we can. George Savile and Benica Fobe were at the top of our target list, and we got them. Steve Kavanagh and Harvey Bustle worked really hard, but John helped us get us over the line. He is trying not to let the team suffer without the income from the fans. Not many chairmen have maintained that mindset over the pandemic. It would be nice to get him and the fans back to the den. And John Berylson is being allowed to travel to London to watch the games against Bristol Rovers and Portsmouth, and he will be on the pitch before the Blackburn Rovers game, giving a speech to the crowd. So here you go, Zian Flemming of Fortuna Sittard. So maybe we got a bit lucky with that one. Anyone remember Bob Peters, Belgian player? Remember him? So maybe we got a bit lucky with that one. Who knows? So there you go. Rowett's target is top 6. And why not? Okay. So moving on. So This is from westlondonsport.com, and the QPR boss Warburton tips Millwall for top 6 finish. QPR manager Mark Warburton believes Millwall will be a top 6 side in the Championship this season. Rangers begin their campaign on Saturday with a home match against the Lions, who have been progressing well under boss Gary Rowett. And Warburton said, Millwall have recruited well and invested wisely. I think Millwall will be a top 6 club, pushing very, very hard this year. Tomorrow against a team that I think will be right up there at the end of the season, we have to go and meet the challenge. They have a good quality and good individual ability. So there you go. He's talking very nice words about Millwall, but is he just saying that to G up his team, to get them motivated to actually perform tomorrow? We will see. We will see. But I'm sure he's sincere. Moving on. So as we've already seen, this is from londonnewsonline.co.uk, and it says Lions tried to sign more overseas players. We've seen that what they just said about Zian Flemming. So Millwall manager Gary Rowett has revealed he has tried to sign players from overseas clubs in recent months. The Lions currently have 3 in their rank who were born or started their careers overseas, but found it hard to watch non-British players because of lockdown rules in recent months. And Rowett has tried during the summer to add to those 3 Bartosz Białkowski of Poland, John Dadybol Varsson of Iceland, and Michael Keftenbeld of the Netherlands. He was asked at Tuesday's fan forum whether he had looked at players on the continent because they can sometimes be got more cheaply than in the British Isles. And Rowett said, we've got lots of targets. We've done a lot of work identifying those sorts of players from overseas, but this summer it's been very hard because of lockdown. We have made offers we felt would be very, very good to the team, and the club made a trip to Holland to see a player who has been well documented, is being looked at by other clubs, which is that Zian Flemming guy. Unfortunately, their valuation did not fit our valuation. When you're spending money, you want players to be understanding on the culture and what's required. We have targeted players from Europe, but deals haven't been right, or they decided not to pursue the option. It's something we want to be better at, but we want to bring in people who improve the team, not just for the sake of money being spent. Chief Executive Steve Kavanagh added, it is important to say that it has been difficult because of the restrictions. We have made 1 trip to Belgium, but other than that, it's been hard. We will not take a player from an overseas club when we haven't seen him in action. Rowett added that he's still deciding what to do about John Dadybol Varsson, who has another year to run on his contract. He is our player, and in my opinion, he needs to get his career back on track, said the manager. If he had the chance to play elsewhere, it's probably in his interest. Sometimes you get a really good player who works really hard at things but do not work out, and if they don't make the best of the situation. It could be something like with Benekophobia, where we are not paying all the wages. It's the same with our players. We have to make a reasonable business decision. We are not going to give players away just so they can play football. So they're saying they want John Dadybol Varsson to go out on loan, but they're not going to just do it for cheap. They want the club that takes him to pay most of his wages. Well, beggars can't be choosers. Do you want him to leave, or do you want him to stay? If someone makes you an offer and it's the only offer you're going to get, maybe you should just take it. That's just my opinion. So there you go. And here we go with more about the Utes. This is from londonnewsonline.co.uk as well. Millwall manager Rowett, we will only make use of youth when they've proved they can have impact on games. Millwall manager Gary Rowett is still ruminating on what will be best for his club's up-and-coming players in the coming weeks. Millwall have built a reputation blooding youngsters, but the Lions boss says he will only use them if they're ready. Midfielder Billy Mitchell and right back Danny McNamara are the current cream of the Lions Academy graduates, but others are coming into the reckoning. Isaac Olofi had loan inquiries from League One clubs during the summer, Rowett was revealed. Asked about Alex Mitchell and Olofi, Tuesday's fans forum, Rowett said Alex Mitchell went to Bromley last season and has been excellent. We've got a debate. Do we let him go out on loan again, or do I keep him with the group? We've had a lot of meetings about it. The others are not ready, in my opinion. With Isaac, we wanted to see the impact of another loan, but unfortunately he got an injury in pre-season. We will give him 2 weeks to see how he recovers, but we do keep the momentum going. For example, with a league loan this time, and then if he does well, he'll be a strong contender to come back. Danny McNamara's loan to St Johnstone was about the quickest way to get him back in the first team. Even if we cannot do that, a loan can create a bit of value. We see the young players week in and week out in the under-23s and training with the first team. We see how they cope with that. The ones that have had a chance in games have been good enough to have an impact. Some clubs will throw 4 or more in just to appease fans. We've had Danny McNamara, Billy Mitchell, Aidan Muller and Tyler Burry. That's a really good start. They've been good in training and the under-23s. I will not just give a shirt to someone because they are at Millwall. There's an opportunity for them to show in training that they can take their chance. Chief Executive Steve Kavanagh added on another teenage talent, Abdul Malik. We have offered him a contract and retain our compensation rights until he's 24. Kids can choose to look at their options. He has chosen to take the route of trials at Southampton, Watford and Portsmouth. Now we don't have to honour the contract we offered. Okay. So they're not gone. So there's no way back for Abdul Malik. We don't have to honour the contract we've offered. So that's that then. He's stuck in limbo because none of these clubs will pay the amount of compensation required for him because he's just a prospect. So he's going to be stuck until he's 24. Rowett said, we think he would be better off with us, as it happened with Danny McNamara, Billy Mitchell and Tyler Burry. Sometimes players don't always get advised in the right way. Some agents say the grass is greener without realising clubs are doing their best for the player. So there you go. Yep, that's interesting. Okay. So moving on to the big game tomorrow. QPR, the first game of the season. Here we go. This is from skysports.com. It is David Prutton's predictions. What does this guy think will happen tomorrow? So let's scroll down when it will go. It's a bit slow. This is so slow. Hang on, let me just grab it and drag it down. So David Prutton predicts QPR 2, Millwall 1. Well, we'll see about that. We will see about that. What? So he also predicts Derby nil, Huddersfield nil. Really, mate? Really? Derby, who can't even put out a proper team yet? You think they're gonna draw 0-0? Yeah, not a cat's hell. There's a chance, whatever the saying is. So let's move on now to this. This is from 11v11.com, and it is head-to-head record. Now I've sorted it by QPR versus Millwall, and we're going to scroll down just to see how bad this is. So here we go. This is the latest game here. 17th of March 2021. We lost 3-2. Before that, we lost 4-3. Then we lost 2-0. We lost 3 games in a row at Loftus Road, and then we've drawn 3. These 3 games, yeah. Then we lost again in 2006. Then we lost, and then we drew. 2004, and then another two defeats in cup games, FA Cup, League Cup. That goes all the way back to 1993, and then we drew in November 1989, and then the last time we won at Loftus Road, 4th of February 1989, we won 2-1, and we were in the top division. That was our 88-89. That was the season we were in the top division, i.e., what would be the Premier League now, but that was the before the Premier League. One of our 2 seasons in the top flight, and we beat them 2-1 because we had a pretty fucking good team then. I think we finished 10th in the league that year. Can you believe that? Can you imagine Millwall finishing 10th in the Premier League? That's what they did in that season, and they did it by beating QPR 2-1. And then before that, a win before that was 1972. We won 3-1. They were pretty good then, in November 1972. So that's 18 years there. Not 17 years. So before that win, it was another 17 years before one there. That's because we weren't in the same division. because we were lower than them in the league structure by 17 years between 1970, us winning in 1972 and us winning in 1989. And now we're up to 32 years now, from 1989 up to 2021. And before that, we got drew with them, 71, and then lost all the way back to 1963. April 1963, we won 3-2. This has not been a good ground for us to do anything at. Going back until you go back to the 1935 to 1950s. 1935, 1936, 1937, 1951, 1953. And even before that, you go all the way back. We only lost 3 times. We only lost 3 times at QPR from 1900 to 1935 or to 1953. Only lost 3 times. So, and then we go along, and then something switched. We went on a downward trajectory. They went on an upward trajectory, and we didn't play them for a while. But we didn't win till 1972. From 1963, 1972, 1972 to 1989, and now even longer, 1989. So hopefully, the 7th of August 2021, hopefully, this year, right now, tomorrow, it will happen. We'll win. For the first time in 32 fucking years. But we will see. We will see. Moving on. We've got this here. Now, this is from whoscored.com, and they usually go on previews based on previous games. Of course, there are no previous games so far this season, so they still do a preview. And what do they say about team news? Mark Warburton could hand debuts to wingback Sam McCallum and Moses Adebayo as he looks to stick with a 3-4-1-2 system. Stefan Johansson returned on a permanent deal in the summer and will start on Saturday, but Sam Field is carrying an injury and won't be available to start. Charlie Austin also returns on a permanent basis. He will partner Lyndon Dykes, who started for Scotland at Euro 2020, up top. Gary Rowett looks set to switch between his favoured 3-4-3 and 3-5-2 systems once again throughout the 21-22 campaign, with the former the more likely approach here. Arsenal only Daniel Ballard impressed with Blackpool last season and should make his debut here. George Saville returns to the club from Middlesbrough, while Benik Afobe should lead the line for the first time. And this is the team they predict. Cooper, Hutchison, Ballard, Biakowski, Malone, Saville, Evans, Romeo, Wallace, Afobe, Mahoney. So they're giving a nod to Mahoney in place of Mason Bennett. I'm not too sure about that. I don't know. With the substitutions available, maybe they do. Maybe they put Billy Mitchell in there into the middle somewhere. Maybe push Saville up. Who knows? Okay, so the match facts. There have been over 2.5 goals scored in 8 of QPR's last 10 home championship games. So there are a lot of goals scored and conceded. QPR have won their last 3 home matches against Millwall in all competitions. QPR have scored at least 2 goals in their last 4 home matches against Millwall in all competitions. QPR finished the 2021 championship campaign in 9th place after winning 4 of their last 5 league games and will fancy their chances as playoff outsiders this time out. Mark Warburton has secured the permanent services all last season's loanees with several weeks of the transfer window to spare. Millwall have been steady proposition under Gary Rowett, and the upcoming season proves to be more of the same from the Lions. Summer signings Daniel Ballard, Benik Afobe and George Saville are all smart acquisitions that leave the South London club in an excellent position as they travel to Loftus Road. But they predict QPR 2, Millwall 1. which is the same as what David Prutton predicted. And Sam Wally here, who's logged in, predicts 4-1 to QPR. Okay, whatever. Moving on now to this we've already seen. So the last 6 matches of QPR versus Millwall: 3-2 to QPR, 4-3 to QPR, 2-0 to QPR, 2-2, 1-1 and 0-0. So QPR score some goals, but they have a leaky defence. We managed to score. We weren't prolific last season. We managed to score 2 goals against them. Now, what does that say about their defence? Or maybe it's the size of the Loftus Road pitch, a bit too small. Maybe it's conducive to goals being scored. Maybe you need a really good defence to defend on a small pitch. Maybe. So here we go. What will be happening? What do I think is going to be happening tomorrow? I think that Millwall will win 2-1. I think it will be QPR 1, Millwall 2. That's what I think. So we'll see. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm not going. I wasn't lucky enough to get a ticket. But we will see. Oh yeah. I forgot to bring this up, but the under 23s won today. They won 2-1 at Royston in Cambridgeshire. So yeah, maybe I might mention that in tomorrow's game, tomorrow's video. But thank you for watching this video, and goodbye.